You
like
really just
sugar.
ate it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it is?
sweet like sugar.
This video's been a long time coming. Lady LRB's plant room. You guys may notice it from the backdrop of my Friday Night Live Q&As that I do. And we've been needing to do a tour of this for a long time, so let's do it. Oh, like that, kitty? Kitty, you ready? Kitty, you ready? And since I don't know the name of most all these plants, I'm gonna have Lady LRB kind of do us a little walkthrough. So I guess we should start here at the beginning, and yes, we do have some aquariums here. Kind of like a terrarium, paludarium thing going on. So I guess let's go ahead and start from the top. And look how that's already branching out over there. So what do you got going on here, Lady LRB?
This one is a red emerald philodendron. Its newer leaves are really nice and beautiful, waxy, very red stem. It grows great in our paludarium, also good in aquariums. This one beside it is a green maranta prayer plant. At nighttime, it's standing up a little bit more. Normally, these leaves are a little bit more spread out, and you can see they're pretty colors. They put out some cute little flowers as well. This one here has a couple of different philodendrons in it. It's a Brazil philodendron, and then this one's a neon version, lemon lime.
Green.
Yeah, it is. I like it.
What do you got going on in these little plastic
In
tubs and
these,
stuff? This
well,
looks like a little work area.
it kind of is. Yeah, actually, a couple of those were yours at one point. But so this has some cuttings. When they have just little nodes, you want to stick those in so they can start growing. And most of these have already grown roots and new leaves coming out. The moisture
Oh
helps
yeah,
them.
you can see the little sprouts that were coming off.
Yeah. And then these beside them, this is a little mini version of Tradescantia. The Wandering Jew, Wandering Dude is the big, more well-known one, but this is a mini version. And this one here is a little succulent called Little Pickles, as you can kind of see by their shape. This one is called a teddy bear vine, another type of succulent. It's kind of fuzzy if you can see, and that's why it's called a teddy bear vine. And then this one is growing from back here is this kind of green multicolored Tradescantia. A little different types of the same plant. This that's growing in the aquarium is another type of Tradescantia. This one is the Zabrina, and it is amazing. When you get it in the light just right, it's got a really glittery look to it. And that leads us into the aquarium and terrarium row. And this aquarium is about half full. It's a little lower than I usually have it. It needs some water added. We've got a Monstera adansonii, here the Swiss cheese vine growing out of it. We've got a Maria arrowhead plant, a Syngonium. We've got, I believe you said this one was the Tiger Vallisneria. That's got a bunch of flowers coming out of the top. There is a green pothos. This is a 10-gallon rimless tank that we've got all of this growing in. The only type of media it has is sphagnum moss that you order in a brick that's dry off Amazon and moisten it up. And it's been in there with all these little cuttings and pieces. There's some rocks that were thrown in. I think they're just river rock. Little piece of manzanita that we'd had from who knows what aquarium.
Like a snake plant, umbrella plant.
Yep. Umbrella plant, snake plant, and a green pothos back here in the corner.
Umbrella is one of my favorites.
It doesn't like to be fully submerged. As long as some of it's sticking out of the water, then it'll keep growing for you. And next to it, this one has been going for about a year now. It is a 10-gallon. And I just had little banks of sand on each side and then have filled it with water just maybe a few inches at the bottom. It's had a whole lot of random cuttings put in here in the last year, but started with this dwarf papyrus that is now growing up and about everywhere here. It's had a little piece of golden pothos that now has grown out up into the wall, starting to grow over here towards the aquarium. And you see this flower poking out here.
Well, yeah, that's cool.
That's from my beefsteak begonia that is kind of taking over down here, creating a marsh. This is a Swedish ivy that's growing out of the front here.
Yeah, I really like that.
Me
Nice.
too. I've got a piece of it growing in our paludarium as well.
Is that what's in the middle there too?
Yeah, it's kind of taking over.
You guys will see a video of that paludarium too. We've got to update you guys on that.
It's also got some Polynesian ivy. This is watermelon begonia, and it'll put out some cute little flowers too. It used to be a little bit more prominent in here, and now this Swedish ivy's kind of taken more over. Each of the plants has kind of had their time of being the more dominant one.
So there's been plant wars going on in there.
Absolutely.
Just like in an aquarium.
Now here, you may be able to see one of my pictures from my pitcher plant. There's a big, huge one back behind it, if the camera can get it. It's pretty amazing. I had a few pitcher plants. It's the only one that's surviving, but now it's kind of being like covered up by this begonia and this Swedish ivy. So I kind of want to do a rehaul on all of this, which is another reason we wanted to get this video done. This guy is another picture off of that same plant. Just really enjoying everything going on in here. There used to be a little piece. Yeah, there is. There's a little Christmas cactus down in here, just the tiniest little piece of it. Been in there the whole time, about a year and a half. Tiny little guy. And then this is another one of those red emerald philodendrons. It's been a lot of fun to see it develop. Down below here, we've got an arrowhead plant cutting. Got a few of those, a syngonium. That one's a white butterfly, and it's got a bit of berry illusion in there. This is a peperomia. I haven't had the best of luck with it. Got it at Home Depot a while back, but it's growing. This is a red maranta. I love this one. Very similar to the one up top, but it's got these red veins in the middle. It's so colorful. Next to it is another prayer plant. This one's called a silver kiss. Just the silver veins instead of any other color. This one here is a calathea. Dottie calathea is the name of this one. She's seen better days, but she also has a lot of new growth coming out of the base. So that's a good sign for spring. Other than the arrowhead, these do not really grow that well in water. Like I've propagated them in water, but as far as long-term growth, they really want to be in a more stable substrate.
All right, and up here.
And then we want to hit the next rack. This one is a coffee plant, Arabica coffee. Love it. It really, really loves moisture. So I'm excited to hopefully get to propagate some of it this spring and try it out in the paludarium. Behind it, we've got a Monstera addisoni. This one is an Alocasia Friedeck. This one came from Grant and Shelby Eater. This one is a propagation off of it. This is a Cebu Blue pothos. This is part of my Brazil philodendron that's jumping over from the next rack. Pothos and philodendron both do great in aquariums. So do syngoniums. This is the Maria syngonium that's also in the aquarium. And then just another one of the Cebus is behind it. So always have a backup of all my plants. You never know. Just like this one is my beefsteak begonia and a little baby of it. This one came from my grandma, and she has had it in the family for 7 generations. So it's kind of my pride and joy and what really got me into plants to start with. And this is another little begonia that I got at Home Depot. It has flowered for me right here. Tiniest little baby flowers, but it's a slow grower. This is a Calcutta, Alocasia Calcutta. I've got a bigger one out in the barn, but this little baby. This guy here is known as the mini Monstera, the Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. I love it. It's just so small but vining, and it's really liking this new little piece to grow on that Lucas got. This one is an aloe plant, used most often when I burn myself in the kitchen. Down below here, we've got a Tradescantia I mentioned earlier. This is the purple heart, and it's probably going to be putting out some flowers pretty soon because it's springtime and it gets the morning sunrise here. It does great in water, aquariums, just vases of water. Again, it's one just like all of these Tradescantias. This one beside it, I love this plant. This is a Yucatan Princess Alocasia. It's got these really pretty purple undersides to the leaves. In the light, it's just gorgeous. Next to it, we've got the Florida Ghost Philodendron. This one is amazing. I've propagated her a few times now. Had it for about 2.5 years. And again, philodendron, it's something that would do great in a aquarium, terrarium situation. Very vigorous, big leaves. Behind it is a paddle plant. I really like them. It's a type of succulent. You get very paddle-like leaves. And another bigger aloe plant. So this one's just a little baby. Here we've got another baby of that Yucatan Princess Alocasia. Baby, but it's huge. Its leaves are as big as my hand, but it's beautiful. Beside it, we have the snake plant. This snake plant here came from my grandma as well, and it's getting really tall. She's just about to hit the top here, so I'm going to have to figure out some plan B here pretty soon. Next to it is a cutting of a plant that I need to remember the name of. It gets very holes in its leaves when it gets a little more mature, but this is a baby cutting. So here's its mama. This one was a little bit more mature, so it had holes in its leaves called fenstration, where this one doesn't yet because it was just a small cutting that's growing as a baby. So I'm hoping this next one, now that it's got something to grow on here, is going to start giving me some more fenstration.
You know, some of these two are kind of like one of my favorites.
Yep, these are both Dracaena. This one's a marginata, where it's mostly a green leaf with little pink outlines. This one is mostly pink with a little bit of green in the middle. This one's called a colorama. As you can see why, super colorful. Up top here, we've got my big mama Brazil philodendron that's going crazy. Up in the window there. She grew up and down the foyer at our old house and moved down here to Florida and's been loving life. In beside it, we've got a piece of the grape ivy. We've got a couple of those growing right now. And then next to the Brazil philodendron, we've got just a heartleaf philodendron. It's just green. It doesn't have any variegation.
I was about to say, it looks the same.
Yep. So you've got your variegation and your non-variegation. And they both really like growing. Anything that's a vining plant, pretty much, you can grow in an aquarium or terrarium. Begonias are another one that love growing in aquariums, terrariums. This one is the Benigo pink begonia. The one in our paludarium is growing so well. It's loving that extra humidity. Next to the begonia, we have another piece of that mini Tradescantia that I had over there. However, this one doesn't have as much variegation, really. I think it got less light at some point. So I've got half of it that's got more variegation, while half of it's a lot more green. I've got a little bit of string of pearls growing here. I've not had the best of luck with string of anything, but this one's finally starting to grow a bit now that I have put it in a place where I kind of forget about it. This is another arrowhead syngonium. This one's kind of a newer cutting, but it's my berry illusion. It's got a little bit more of a pink to the veins in it. Then we'll hop down here, and this is one that I love very much, a black velvet begonia. Those leaves are just fantastic.
And you can see the sheen, the shimmer on them. Yeah. Pretty cool.
And then beside her, we've got a white butterfly syngonium. This is one of them that I've had for many, many, many years. So it's just nice to see it still living its best life. And then we've got the last rack here. This is my Cissus rhombifolia, the grape ivy, which we had a little one back there. This is the big mama that I had at my old house. Next to it is a philodendron birkin. It's got these nice variegated leaves. But it also has some flowers starting to poke through, not from it, but from one of my Hoyas. And oh my gosh, this is the first time I've seen this open. I've been checking it all day long, and this flower has not been open, but now it is.
Oh, that's
Check
cool.
that out.
Look at that. Beautiful. So are those the same flowers, both of them? One's closed, one open?
Yeah, this is what that, yeah. So here's one right behind it that's closed. It hasn't opened yet. This one just opened in the last couple of hours. This one will open maybe next week. Ah, I've been waiting days. So that's exciting. But back to this guy, Cissus rhombifolia. He's got a bunch of Hoyas trying to grow up through him. That's what that is a Hoya that's flowering. This is one that's growing up here now. They're all over the place, but they seem to be doing well together. This is a Camposortum philodendron. When I first bought it, I bought it as a Micans philodendron. Anybody who knows those, they're fairly common. And they have just more of a heart-shaped leaf that's a little velvety looking. And then after it started to grow up the wall, it started to give me more of these arrowhead shape. And now it's growing all along the ceiling. And it's amazing. Camposortum philodendron, pretty rare one. And the Hoyas are just intermingling with it. So the two different Hoyas have hit the ceiling up there, and they're trying to figure out what to do. But so far, they're giving me flowers. So that's great. All right, and then down below, this is a Monstera adansonii, another Swiss cheese vine. It's kind of taken over and gone up through the window even. It's just vining everywhere, which is fun. That was kind of always what I envisioned in this space. Next to it is all of my Hoyas. This is Hoya Row. So this one is a Silver Kiss White Eskimo. So we've got this Hoya, which gives me a whole bunch of really neat flowers. There's one hanging right here that hasn't opened just yet, but they are very delicate flowers. Vining all over the place, really. This one's a Hoya Hindu rope variegated version. It's just fun to watch. Growing quickly. It's a little baby. This one's also one of them that's growing up here and flowering. This is the one with the big, beautiful flower. This one here. And beside it is the Hoya Bella. She's got a few flowers, but nothing that's open right now. They are really pretty when they come out. Got little pink centers and smell like fruity pebbles. Yes. This one back here, the Public Calyx, it's got some neat little flowers. Here's actually one of them right here. I had Wesley test it the other day. You can see this little nectar hanging from it.
On you.
Yeah, it's Hoya nectar.
Ooh, it's going everywhere.
It did.
It's nectarin.
But what's neat is it's the sweetest thing in the world. It is so sweet.
Oh,
it is
you
like
really
sugar.
just ate it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh,
it's sweet like sugar. It's amazing. Wesley tried it too. Grammy and Pa tried it when they were here.
That's wild.
But if you can get in on the top of this flower, the top of these flowers are kind of velvety, just the neatest looking things. Couple of Hoya tricolor little cuttings here, so hopefully they'll grow into their own here in time. But Hoya Row, always bouncing. And this is a little vase filled halfway with water. I got it at our aquarium club. It's got some of watermelon begonia, Polynesian ivy. It's where I first got the red emerald philodendron. I've taken numerous cuttings off of it. It's got a little bit of Java moss or Pilo moss, some sort of moss that's now its substrate. Just a little bit of pebbles was down in the bottom. And then our last row here, we've got just a random succulent garden that I've had for years. These succulents are pretty insane though, I won't lie. Mother of millions is what most of them are. Other than this one is a zebra haworthia, and it's got a little baby beside it. The wildest thing about it is, well, it's mother of millions, so you'll see the millions of mothers back here. But out of this pot is growing up through this windowsill up to here. From here down to that pot.
Loaded with babies.
It's pretty wild. Next to it, we've got this dumb cane. I got it at our aquarium club. It was insane when I got it. It had these huge vines like growing out of it, sitting on the floor and growing up. I've taken so many cuttings of it in the barn that are probably as tall as me. It's amazing. Next to it is a cutting of that Florida Ghost philodendron. Ooh, she's putting out a new leaf here so you can see They're called a Florida ghost because the leaves come out almost white. And that's just another mother of millions behind it. So that's all on the shelves, but now we've got everything here in the middle table going on. These are all things that are either for sale, being propagated, being moved in or out from the barn or to the barn, because that's where all of my overflow goes.
For sale? Where?
On LRBAquatics.com.
LRBAquatics.com. Now, Lady LRB does have a video of what this first looked like when we did move in. So if you guys wanted to see what it did look like before, you can go check out her channel.
So here we've got some beefsteak begonia propagations, a black velvet propagation, and a couple of syngoniums. These are each listed on LRB Aquatics, along with some golden pothos growing in water here. Got some minis, mini little babies. Little tray of deliciousness here.
Looks like an expensive dinner for an animal.
Oh yes, they would love that. But little begonias, little syngoniums, little alocasia starts, little corms that grew into more, and some Brazil philodendrons. Love these guys. We've got a propagation of a begonia. This is a start of that teddy bear vine. I wanted to make sure I had a backup. These are propagations of the Hoyas that you've already seen, but these I'm trying to maintain a little bit more by giving them something to grow on. This guy is still trying to get wily on me, but I'm going to keep vining him through this thing. Now these babies are my monsteras. This one was given to me by a great friend. And it's amazing. New leaf is coming out any day now. It's been working on it 4 days. Lucas got me these coconut core poles, and I believe that's why I'm getting new leaves out of them now. This is just your regular Monstera deliciosa. Plain green, but big, big, beautiful leaf. I saved her from just a single leaf. It's had root rot once or twice, so don't overwater them. However, they will grow in a vase of water. That's something unique about many plants. If you have them in soil, they don't want to be overwatered. This is a purple passion plant. It's like very velvety texture, and the velvet is the purple part. It's amazing. It's had a troubled past. Last summer it was flowering. It almost died. We're bouncing back. Next to it is a couple of black velvet begonia starts, a couple of paddle plant starts, and this is my spider plant. Love them. These will grow in water as well. I've got one in the paludarium. This one is just glorious in here. I recently brought it from the barn. It is a moonlight philodendron, hence the really brightness of that new leaf coming out. Next to it, we've got some more Monstera adansonii, Swiss cheese vine cuttings. Those are getting propagated. I don't know. Maybe I'll sell them. Maybe I'll pot them. Time will tell. This is a gold leaf croton. It's seen better days. I just brought it in and repotted it, so I'm hoping that it's going to perk back up here soon. A couple of prayer plant propagations, and really just various cuttings from here. We've got some arrowheads, some pothos, some tradescantia. I believe that is.
All right, so there we have it. There's the plant room you guys have been seeing for a long time now, and finally got that walkthrough thanks to Lady LRB. And if you guys like this kind of stuff and want to see more, hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. See you on the next one.